Tak. A v tuto chvíli bych rád předal slovo našemu zahraničnímu hostu Heldrovi Luizovi Santosi z Streetwork Training Institute z Portugalska a příspěvek se jmenuje Advocacy Case Study.
Hello. Dobrý den. And vivate to this session. I think it's vivate. I'm sorry. Vitata to this section. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. I know quite well your organization. I'm a little bit old, as my name could explain, because I'm elder too, but my name is Helder. But I'm elder too. That means I know quite well your organization. I'm a friend of colleagues from Czech Republic. I work with them, and it's a very nice moment to be with you in this position. And I noticed that this conference is like when I'm going to do lectures in the university. There are a kind of empty space in the front, and every good students are in the back. If in meanwhile you can change your place, be free. Another rule is you are free to ask me points of clarification. Why? Because I will be translated in Czech. That means a Portuguese guy that speak in English, translate in Czech, oh mamma mia, it could be a nightmare. And I will speak about two concepts that are very, very, a kind of problematic for street workers. I will speak about advocacy, and everybody raised suddenly the question, advocacy, but I'm lobbyist now? Could be. And another concept, not very, a little bit hidden under the advocacy or behind the advocacy concept, the social marketing. Oh, marketing, but I'm now from the marketing. Oh no, it's not possible. It's only concepts. But we try to share with you some concepts. More important perhaps is to discuss a little bit why is important these concepts, if we can use them as a tool or a learning process, and for whom is important this kind of concepts, and if is in our practice could be used or not by us in order to develop our work. Well, this is the aims. Questions? No questions? Doubts? No doubts? Oh, I'm going. Because if there are no questions and no doubts, we can go to take a coffee, because it's better than stay in the room. Isn't it? Well, but I was paid to be during half an hour with you. I must fulfill my task, sorry. If you want, you can go out to take a coffee and return back in 20 minutes, because I say bye-bye, and it's okay. Well, I have the PowerPoint, yes. And, sorry, there are the, not, but no problem. Okay. Well, I coming from this organization, Streetwork Training Institute, is the branch of training of the network of social street workers. The name is Dynamo International Street Workers Network. And in 2012, we create an institute of training based in Lisbon. Hey, I'm happy. Based in Lisbon and working with all members of this network. We have now 53 members in different countries because it's one member per country, and we have different members and 53 countries in Asia, Africa, and Americas. This organization is develop not only training but research action projects with the national platforms. And that's why I'm here and I was invited to share with you our expertise in advocacy. And the first question that we must raise when we talk about this concept is why advocacy? Why advocacy for you?
I think that it's really important because of poverty in society. We should empowerment our clients. So this is the reason.
Very nice. Empower the society and empower the clients. Very, very nice. And you? You know. Oh, sorry. And you? Sorry? And you? No? No? Why is it important?
I wasn't paying attention.
You are in penetration.
No, I wasn't paying attention the moment.
Are you paying attention?
So.
And why is it important to speak about advocacy?
To give power to vulnerable people in a society who don't have their voice yet.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Well, we know we deal every day with concerns and expectations about our target population. They are some in exclusion, discrimination, and gender inequality. The organizations that provide the service are in the same situation sometimes. The most vulnerable of the workers sometimes is the street workers. In some countries, we don't have status. We are not hired as street workers, even we do that. That's why it's important somewhere not only to do the advocacy in order to empower the society and empower our clients, but also to empower ourselves. Because, as you know, you have a chance to have here an organization in Czechia. It's very nice because I can say, we can count by our fingers how many countries where we can have this kind of organizations with the statute, with the rules, with the ethical profile and ethical discussions, and this is very interesting. And somewhere the general public, and sometimes the deciders of the countries where there aren't an organization like yours don't think that could be interesting to put in practice this kind of methodology of work with this kind of population. That's why in these countries we can do advocacy for our organizations. And also this advocacy could be a tool to raise awareness, even for us as awareness about our work, our methodologies, our way to do the relation with our clients, and also the new patterns that we can face in our local territory of work. That's why advocacy is a good tool to work with these questions. What is advocacy? Well, we decide. The colleagues said a lot about give power, empowerment. Be careful with the word empowerment, because that word is they have the root power, and sometimes it's very difficult to lead with that concept. Advocacy is an activity that aims to identify, embrace, and promote a cause. And this is a very interesting thing, because sometimes we testimony as street workers several problems in our target population, but some of our street workers and some of our target population don't discuss about causes, which is our cause. This is important because in the Street Work Training Institute, our model consider that we have three main tasks as street workers. One is to be updated in terms of theoretical acts. That means reflect in theories that could explain the comportments and the way to deal with our target populations. Then, and this is the name of this is the evidence, the scientific evidence. The second one, with the same status, is the knowledge that comes from the practice. The practice is very important to reflect in our daily life, in our daily work near the target populations. And this is the experience evidence. And most of us are this experience evidence very deeply. And sometimes we discuss only that. But we must go further to go to the theoretical part and also the political part. And in the political part is linked with that kind of competence that we try to develop in our target population is the active citizenship. Or to have an active citizenship, we must discuss with our target population the causes that are in the base of our advocacy. And that includes lobbying, strategies to influence legislation, and communication. Well, this is one of the definitions that we take to try to help us in the discussion how advocacy is important in our work life. What is the purpose of advocacy? The purpose is influence policymakers. Directly, that means us, street workers, or give competencies to our target population that they own, try to influence themselves, the policymakers. And when we try to discuss about policymakers, be careful. It's not only the Ministry of Social Affairs. It is in the top of the pyramid, perhaps. Be careful, because at the local level, perhaps in your organization, perhaps in the network of our organizations, in the local level, do you have this kind of influence that you can do in order to change policies? Okay? purpose of advocacy is to influence the policymakers in order to create changes to the system on which our organization mission depends, by shaping public policy at the local level, national and regional and international levels. Public policy is done through governmental or city council's action, laws, rules, funding, priorities that aim to resolve a common issue of concern. This common issue of concern is the common issue that must be raised by our target population. Is a danger when the street workers became the speaker in name of the public. The best, my dear friends, as you know quite well, is to help them to have a voice, and this voice could be communicated by them, because it's their causes and because it's their concerns. And suddenly, these policymakers be aware that the really concerns of this target population, that sometimes they only know by reports of one page, read like this, and in the end, misuse of drugs is a problem. Be careful with that. Raising awareness, raising a common issue concern is something that you must work with your target population. And your target population could be raised these common concerns. As when we talk about advocacy for a better status for the social street workers, why not us, in our conferences, perhaps in the social moments, perhaps is the moment to try to do contacts and to share common concerns about our profession and start to have a strategy to do best advocacy in order to change the rules, laws, and policies. Questions? Doubts? Yes? Excuse me, I must run a little bit because we have translation. And if not, our colleagues there.
Okay, so what about wider society opinion about your work? What they think about it? Are they accepting you or think that you work with people, they don't deserve it, and so on?
What do you think?
I think it's gonna be the same like here. So.
Is the same like here? Is the same like here? What? Tell me.
I don't want to use some words, so but I'm not happy with the situation here about this.
A concern is not happy. A concern. Very interesting. Thank you very much. I'm Helder. You are? Vlad. Thank you, Vlad. A good example. Please, if there are some people in the room that want to share with the Vlad this concern, please get out. Don't hear me. You have the trigger to start a campaign for social street workers to change in the public. In this case, is in the public, isn't it?
Sorry.
Is it in the general public, or is it only for the politicians, or for decision makers?
Some parts of both of the sides, like some from the public and politicians. So a complex problem.
Not complex. Not complex. You have a concern. It's okay. You want to change the image of social street workers. It's good concern. And now it defines, this one is good in advocacy. If you was in Portugal, I hire you. Because you are very, very clever. And he defined another step, very important, is who is the target population for my campaign. And he said, not only the general public, but also politicians. Two different groups, two different ways of?
Yes.
Two different ways? Two different groups, two different ways?
Yes, it's about it's about thinking how to target to these two different groups and find the strategies how to
Good.
ways the how
What
to
I'm doing here?
because
Pay them. The same that you pay me.
because each of these groups needs a different way how to target to them.
Which tools? Which tools? This tool sometimes is very good. Is niet. No. No. I'm not there. I want to learn more. I want to be deeply in the discussion with my friend that has the concern. Because I'm a little bit tricky, this concept, isn't it, Honza?
Yes,
It's my friend.
you are my friend.
Honza is, we support each other because we have something in common, as you know, as you see. Well, two different people, two different ways to communicate. And the strategy must be very carefully designed in order to achieve our purpose. And our purpose is to tell them that we are a good worker and we do a very good job. If you ask in Czechia, how many people knows which is the street workers, some of them don't have a clue. Say, I don't know, it's social services. Yesterday in my taxi, thanks Carolina, because you booked me a taxi to come to the airport here. It's a limo with a very huge limo. No, it's a very nice guy. And he said, it's for business or it's for pleasure? And I said, I'm doing business with pleasure. And he said, that means which imagination these words impact in his brains, you know? Well, this question is very, very important because we need to raise that information to the public because the general public could be a partner in order to achieve our goal to have a new image on the field. Don't forget, meeting point during the coffee break. Well, here we have spoken already, a tool. When we use, for instance, we are testimonies of the issues that our target population face. Sometimes we see, we hear, and we can ignore that. And if we can't ignore that, it's moment to do something. And perhaps the first step is to speak with our colleagues in the team and said, yeah, I'm fed up. Shit. Sorry, shit is not allowed. No. Don't translate that part because, it's good. Nicely worded in Czech. Okay. And please do, we must do something. And we don't realize that we start the movement, that the guy sometimes You will be the Minister of Social Affairs, isn't it, Honsa? Yes. A future one, it's possible. Yes. No? Commissary of European Union for Social Affairs. I know it. That is that is the question. When we speak about to do, it's not my moment. It's better to tell to the meeting, yes, I'm fed up. I'm going till the discussion of the issue, but act. Oh, I'm sorry, but I have guys that wait me in the corner, and I must go there. Because that part, the act part, is the more heavy one, because you must give something from you. And for your first time, perhaps you must discuss politics with your team. And it's importantissimo. It's very, very important, this question, to discuss politics in your team. But most of the teams don't dare to discuss that because they are afraid or because they don't want to act. But we continue to see, we continue to hear, and we continue to ignore. And our capacity of reacting is low and low. Why? Because we don't act. And this is which is important in the terms of the advocacy as a tool or as a learning process. Please. It's a video, please. Now is a moment for relax. Well, is example, no problem, the other one, is an example of a video did by a team that want, as you said, to do something for the public in general in order to explain what we do when we work. I give you three countries where this video was done. And you stand up if you agree on the country that I said. Okay? It's clear? Yeah. Portugal. Well, France. Poland. Neither, no country in the world. Moon. Brazil. Brazil. Then more. United States of America. United States of America. Thank you. He's a future citizen of United States of America, and you know. Senegal. RDC. Congo Republic Democratic. Nepal. And Mexico. And the other ones? Which is the country that you are? All the countries that I said are involved in that campaign. It was a campaign for the public in general and policymakers at the local level in these countries, because they start with the same concern that Vlad. Good Vlad. Our advocacy, we could do the advocacy is easy, a technical point. Here is not a lot of discussion. You need, as I said, to have a discussion which is the target population. Policymakers, local networks, could be the organizations of the local network. Sometimes we spend 1 year, 2 years, 3 years working with local network organizations, and they don't know what we do. Only we discuss cases. We discuss people. But we don't know really which is our rules, which is our methodologies, which is our boundaries. What we can do and what we can't do. The media is also a target population. And here is the most common tactics. Tactics means tools in advocacy. Lobby, you are aware about that. Coalition building, as I proposed to Vlad, is a coalition building, is to talk with the others that have the same concern than us. Media outreach, I want to know which kind of journalists are interested on our campaign. Don't target all the journalists in the media, because all the journalists, some of them are not interested on the topic, but some of others are very interesting on it. Research is a very practical. To do a research is very practical, because if I work in this neighborhood of Prague, and I do a research in order to know if the public in general, the Czechs, not the tourists, we put dundun. Dundun, you know the dundun for the flies? Like in Lisbon. We have lots of tourists in Lisbon and in the city center. When we want to go there, without tourists, we come with the dundun. Dundun is a kind of buyer, anti-flyers, and the tourists, yes, fall, and we could to walk in the city slowly and nicely without the noise of the trolleys. Well, research is very important. If in this neighborhood I noticed that the majority of the neighborhood don't know that here in the city center is the spot where there are more homeless people, I must do a research on that. And if I arrive to the numbers that they don't know that, I must raise awareness about that, because they could help me to defend my job and to defend the strategy that I have to in order to solve the problem. Informing policymakers. If you have a team of advocacy raising awareness, please don't keep with the knowledge with you. Share with the professionals. And where you can find the professionals? In the secretariats of the policymakers. Try to do bridges with them, professionals. They are there, and they are very important in your strategy to arrive to the policymaker. Informing policymakers, the stakeholders' engagement, it's important. Don't work only with us. If we want to change the image of social street workers, we must work with the other jobs, with the other professionals. Because only like that we can achieve compromises to change the law. Social and the health sector are concerned with the problem of the drug addiction in the city center, in the main square, I don't know, in the main square, or in the gas station. This is important. This is very, very important. And we need to involve, in this case, the health professionals on that. And educating the public on policy issues. This is the best for us. Hey, you guy, do you want to change the world? Please do. I support you. I don't agree with you, but still, I support you to do that. That means act. Act. There are a very nice song when I was young, well, middle-aged, around. And the discussions around politics with our colleagues is like parole, 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 parole. It's a French song, and the repetition of the words, word. We talk, and we change anything. What is missing? Action. Please do it. Action. Coffee break. Vlad, the future leader of the campaign, is wait you in the corner of the. Is tea or is tea or water? Water. Then July. It's a tricky with that song. Okay, building relationship with policymakers. Bridges are not expertise. We are experts in bridges. Thanks God we are in the field, because without that, the social cohesion, it was a mess. If it is a mess now, without social street workers, without other professionals acting in the street, it will be worse than this. It's all the theoretical evidence, all the practice evidence show that. Please act on that. 5 minutes? No? Yes, okay. Shut up. It's better for me. Well, benefits, as you see, I could raise some ones, is promoting a cause. Please, talk with your target population. It's not only, I want to change the world, but I want to change the world like this, for this, achieving that. Because you know, as I know, that the majority of youngsters that we can face, some issues is because they are rebels, but without cause. And please give them the cause. This society based on image, in communication, in skills, in entrepreneurship, and other concepts, please put them to speak about achievements. What do you want to achieve in the future? How do you see your contribute for change the world? Climate changes is a good example how the people outside our connections could put a cause in the agenda of the world. And some of them, the majority of them, are not touched by us as street workers. It's a pity. But it's not like, oh, but we work with the most vulnerable people. No. It's a question of to have a human rights approach in our work. It's to change the North for instead to give them, instead to do things for them, is based our activity in participation with them. But not with them because we are in talking with them. No, bring them to our local and our decision-making process. Oh, many plans that you have that are based on a build-up process between you and your target population. And only like this, the level of participation is better and better. And you do a very nice job and you rest more. Do you know why? Or do you know? Yes, do you know why? Because if they take the work, you can rest. Work of student is the rest of the professor. It was my topic all the time. That's why, what do you want that I speak today? Participation. And if I don't know, I must say, well, today I can't do my lesson because I don't know which is topic. I must go at home to prepare it. Or, oh yeah, we go. And, oh, but it's boring this. Dear friends, it was you that decided that. It wasn't me. If it's boring, it was because you transformed this topic in boring. Yeah. And policymakers and stakeholders, it's a very important informational resource for policymakers and stakeholders. If we want to discuss the question of budgets, is a trivial question for us because our teams have lots of money every time. We don't decide, we don't have this kind of issues, of course. Question of hiring people and so, oh no, it's quite soft for us, but we can help other professionals in other sectors to improve that. Well, to do a good strategy, we must involve not only the policymakers, but the stakeholders. If the stakeholders don't work with us, and if we don't see the cake and start to talk about we must put more eggs and more flour in the cake in order to have more slices for each one, we are killed. Because we are not known. And if you are not known, of course, for us, the slides is the small one. Thanks God it's not the case in Czechia. But in my country, it's like that. Why? Because we don't talk about some issues, some social organizational issues with our stakeholders, our colleagues. Policymakers, community leaders, artists, journalists, opinion makers. You have a award, a very nice award that spent 1 or 2 years in my home because Carolina said, and if she said, sorry, for the guy. You have a very nice award that was done yesterday in your party. This award is designed by an artist. Or if he's not an artist, I could tell this is an artist. Because, why? Because they express through art a very, very critical moment of the street workers. The shoes that must wear very nicely because it's to walk, and the movement of the boot. The movement of the boot is to walk, is not to stay on the corner during the day. Artists and journalists are a target population as a benefits of advocacy, but also colleagues for advocacy. The journalists must be informed about certain issues. Either if they are not informed about that issues, they reproduce the general blah blah, as our Jonas, friend of us from Sweden, used to say, reproduce the blah 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 blah. Questions? Doubts? Questions? Doubts? 1 minute? I finished. You can show the final slide. No.
Má někdo nějaké otázky?
They don't have.
No.
Oh, lady. I'm sorry because the interpreters need to hear you. To reproduce in Czech.
Do you have some examples from actual work that you were doing this advocacy and in?
Yes, I have an example. You can show the next slides, please. The first one, it was the video. We did a campaign in 14 countries in the world about that. We put a petition. We raised the signatures of 5 policymakers, 5 journalists, 5 artists, 5 organizational stakeholders in order to present that at the local and national level, that petition to be considered the methodology of social street work as a methodology that the social workers or educational workers, because as you said in the world there are 2 pools, the pool of the education, they put the street work in the education and the other ones put in the social work, to raise that methodology as a methodology that they could use in the contracts that they have with this kind of ministries. Interesting, in this case, the concern is to be known. We don't arrive to the step further, is to be recognized. That's why, to be known, I could say that you are very well known in Europe as members of Dynamo, in the world, of course, too, but to be recognized is another thing. Perhaps you must share with Vlad and start with Vlad the commission. Okay? Don't forget, in the corner of the coffee, Vlad meeting with the lady. Sorry? The colleague? Lia. Oh, it's a very nice name. It's a Portuguese one also. Please, the example. And that example, it's crafting a strategic plan, but then you have it in the publication. I think Carolina sent you a publication with all that aspects and other more. More? Yes, this is one example with Asians only. In Asia, we have a lot of street children. In street. It's not like in Portugal. In Portugal, we have we have in situation of street. That means they drop out of school because the school is very, very good in Portugal, you know. The formal school is advocacy for street-based youth work and networking action. In Asia, there are an issue. Which is the issue? The issue is there are networks that only work when the funds arrive. It's like a survival strategy. For instance, Save the Children said, I have $1 million for Vietnam. Oh, no, Vietnam is out of the list. I have $1 million for Cambodia. And all the NGOs, local ones, need to be informed because they could have money. Not the international ones, only the national ones. And they agree, among them, they look the cake and try to have a slice, more than the others, of course, because it's a question of, you have a good arguments to defend that. And in the end, they have a problem that they don't cooperate anymore in the work. That means the cake is sliced, each organization has a piece of cake, and see you next time. This is the network. Why? Because the network is imposed by the founder. It's not the thing that in our Streetwork Training Institute we want. It's bottom up. That doesn't mean that top-down is not used. No. We must be used top-down. In education, in social affairs, we need to do top-down sometimes. Boundaries. But to have this tension between the top-down and the bottom-up is the key for the success. More? Well, this is the activities that we run there. We start for the state of art. We arrive at issue in common. We do a SWOT analysis, which in this specific issue, which is our strengths, which is our weaknesses, opportunities, and stress. A stakeholder identification, that means we work with other stakeholders that are as part of the national, of the local network, a strategic action plan, and a timeline. Here you are. You have this in your publication. Means, which is the means of the objective, the means of the action, the stakeholders, and the target group, and when, and the indicators for evaluation. This is an example by the stakeholders from Philippines, Nepal, Cambodia, Vietnam, and East Timor. We run their training, because the Streetwork Training Institute has a training of 35 hours of training in advocacy, and in the end, the group has prepared to do a plan, advocacy plan. This is an example. You have that in your papers, and more, please. And more. This is some feedbacks. More. And this is a guide that you can find here in dynamointernational.org EN publication, advocacy training and implementation, for those that want to go further. Questions?
Nejsou žádné otázky? Tak já bych chtěl moc poděkovat za prezentaci. Thank you for presentation.